Is the glue coming apart in your marriage? Are you and your spouse stuck together like you should? Or potentially are your kids causing a rift? Because I do think it's worth pausing to think about as Christian women who want good and godly marriages. Well, my husband, Mark, he mentioned in our marriage ministry an important element of family life that husbands and wives should maintain this one flesh, close relationship. Genesis 2 talks about this. Two separate people, a man and a woman, get married, and scripture says that they become one flesh. And it's interesting because children are not a part of that. They are not part of the one flesh union. Yes, they're offspring of that. They are totally amazing. They're super special, but they are not part of the one flesh coming together as husband and wife. That's just between you and your spouse. And yet, there are a few ways that you might see your kids try to kind of separate the glue, as my husband likes to say, the glue that holds you together. They might begin to come in and try to become top dog in your life or get the focus of all of your attention. And we need to work to keep our husbands first, which is the way that God intends it. Here's one way they might do that. They might interrupt you. Now, I've already done a recording earlier on this, teaching your kids to interrupt correctly, but it's so important. It teaches them respect, of course, but also that they can't just get your attention whenever they want it, especially if you're talking to their father. You know, it shifts the tension away from him onto them, and they are needy. They have a lot of needs, of course, but you want to teach them that dad is first. You want to show your husband respect by not letting them interrupt you and get all your attention. And something good to say is, you know what, excuse me, I'm talking to your dad, don't interrupt me. Okay, the second way is maybe with beds. Okay, now just hear me out on this. Having your child sleep in your bed with you can be problematic. It's tricky. I know some disagree, but just listen for a moment and let's think through some of this. And ultimately, you're responsible for the choices that you're going to make in this. But, you know, if there's a kid sleeping in your bed, often there's a lack of intimacy. And really, this is so important. You see this throughout scripture. This keeps the glue, the one flesh union together, and it is commanded by God. Okay, another potential problem is that often children are getting what they want by sleeping in your bed, but your husband is not getting what he wants. So this is an instance where often children get what they want and the husbands don't. You know, they end up calling the shots, they whine for it, I don't want to go in my own bed, I want to be with you, mommy. And really, then you guys are ending up putting their needs above your needs, and that's not how it should be. This is another way for children to sometimes try to take charge in the home. You know, just because they want something, it doesn't mean that the kids get it. You often put them two in the bed physically between you and your spouse, which is a physical representation of the child being in the center, and that can be dangerous. You know, so I would just suggest praying about this, talking to your husband about this to see if he's on board with having a child sleep in your home. Make sure you are on the same sides of things. We need to teach our children as well, a third thing, not to try and get one parent on their side. I mean, I think this happens a lot. You know, a kid comes up, they're like, Mom, can I have a treat? And I'm tired. I don't know, sweetie. You know, they walk over to Dad. Dad, can I have a treat? Oh, sure, buddy. You know, and then I'm like, wait, why did you say yes? You know, there's some miscommunication, and it's like they're trying to get what they want from Dad or from you, whatever it might be. Don't allow them to do that. Teach them that if one parent says something, we're united. You know, we're not going to be divided and you go to one that's the easy parent or the tough parent. If you need to step out of the room, have a quick discussion, a private discussion. You know, when they're little, of course, you can spell things, but that would be another way to teach them not to separate the glue. And really the last thing that I can think of that I see nowadays is that children have taken over the home life so much so that moms and dads don't go on dates or getaways anymore. Now, I think this is important in keeping that one flesh, that glue, that intimacy between husband and wife, that super special relationship, is to at times say, kids, we love you so much, but we need to work on our marriage. We need to work on our relationship. And I know I hear, you know, if you don't have family or if you're nervous about leaving them with a babysitter, this can be a problem. But start training one. Have someone over into your home, a potential babysitter, have them see you interact, see where things are, because we do need to be able to get away from them and remind kids that this is a special relationship. It will do so much for them, give them so much security. It'll be such a great example of a godly marriage. You know, we need to make sure that our children, of course, feel loved from us, know that they're special, that we care, that they get our attention, our help, our support, all of those things. But I do think it's important today to think through, are they causing somewhat of a rift, or that glue that you have with your spouse? Is it kind of coming apart because your children have tried to get in there and join that one flesh union? We don't want that to happen, and we want to keep our husbands as number one priority in this relationship here on earth as God has designed it to be.